Dear audience, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we are diving into the story of one of the most influential Islamic institution in the world, known as Darul Uloom Deoband. In Arabic it said Al Jamia Al Islamia Darul Uloom Deoband. This seminary is located in the small town of Deoband in Uttar Pradesh, India. This seminary has been a beacon of Islamic scholarship for over 150 years. Since its founding in 1866, Darul Uloom Deoband has shaped the minds of countless scholars, played a key role in the India's struggle for independence and left an indelible mark on global Islamic thought. In this video, we will explore the rich history of Darul Uloom Deoband from its humble beginning in a small mosque to its rise as a global center of learning. We will delve into its unique curriculum, its role in India's freedom movement, and its influence on Muslim communities worldwide. We will also address some of the challenges and controversies it has faced in the modern era. So, without further delay, let's start. Dear audience, to truly appreciate the significance of Darul Uloom Deoband, we need to step back to the mid 19th century. India was under British colonial rule, and the Muslim community was reeling from the brutal separation of the Indian Rebellion of 1857. This uprising, also known as the Sipahi Mutiny, had been a desperate attempt to overthrow British control, but it ended in failure. Many Muslim leaders were killed or exiled, and traditional centers of Islamic learning were in decline. The British had abolished Persian as the official language and introduced English education, which marginalized Islamic scholarship. In this atmosphere of despair, Muslim scholars feared that their religious and cultural identity was at risk. They saw the need for an institution that could preserve Islamic knowledge and provide spiritual and intellectual guidance to the community. It was in this context that Darul Uloom Dewan was born, a response to the challenges of colonial rule and a beacon of hope for Muslims in India. On May 31st, 1866, a group of visionary leaders and Islamic scholars, including Muhammad Qasim Nanotwi, Rashid Ahmad Gangohi, and others Islamic scholars, established Darul Uloom Deoband in a small mosque in the town of Deoband. Mosque is also known in this era, Masjid Chatta. The choice of Deoband, a quiet, relatively obscure town, was deliberate. The founders wanted to create a space free from the political and cultural restriction of major cities like Delhi or Lucknow, where they could focus purely on Islamic teaching. The seminary began modestly with just one teacher, named Mahmud Deobandi, and one student, Mahmud Hassan Deobandi, who would later become a towering figure in Islamic scholarship and India's freedom struggle. Despite its humble start, Darul Uloom Deoband quickly gained popularity. What set it apart was its innovative approach to education. Unlike the traditional madrasas, which often relied on informal individualized teaching, Darul Uloom Deoband adopted modern methods, a fixed curriculum, classroom, and regular examination. This structured system was inspired by British educational models but adapted to serve the need of Islamic scholarship. The seminary relied entirely on donations from the Muslim community, refusing any government funding to maintain its independence. Despite financial challenges, it grew rapidly. By the end of 19th century, it had become one of the most respected centers of Islamic teaching in the world, attracting students from across India, Afghanistan, Central Asia, and beyond. At the heart of Darul Deoband's educational system is the Dars-e Nizami curriculum, which was developed in 18th century. This curriculum, Darsan Azami, focuses mainly on the traditional Islamic sciences such as Quranic exegesis or tafsir, Quranic interpretation, hadith, which are the prophetic tradition, fiqh, marine jurisprudence, and the Arabic language. A student spends years mastering these subjects, often memorizing large portion of the Quran and Hadith collection, like Sahih al-Bukhari and Sahih al-Muslim and other books of Sitta. The goals to produce the scholars who are deeply rooted in Islamic knowledge and capable of guiding the community with wisdom and authority. But Darul Uloom Deoband is not just about academic rigor. It also emphasizes spirituality. Many of its founders and early scholars were affiliated with Sufi orders, particularly the Chishti order, which stresses inner purification and devotion to God and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This blend of scholarly pursuit and spiritual development is the hallmark of the Deobandi tradition. Students are encouraged to cultivate both their minds and their hearts, striving for a balanced approach to faith. Over the years, the curriculum has remained largely unchanged, preserving the classical method of Islamic learning. However, the seminary has also introduced some modern subjects like basic mathematics or contemporary ethics to help students navigate the challenges of today's world while staying true to their religious roots. Darun Devan was not just a place of learning their audience. It was also a center of resistance against colonial rule. Many of its scholars and alumni were deeply involved in India's struggle for independence. One of the most prominent figures was the Maulana Mahmud Hassan Deobandi, also known as the Sheikh ul Hind, and founder of Jamia Millia al Islamia, located in New Delhi. In the early 20th century, he became a leader in the Silk Letter movement, adhering plot to overthrow British rule by seeking support and assistance from countries like Afghanistan and Ottoman Empire. The plan involved secret letters written on silk, smuggled across borders, but it was discovered by British. Mahmud Hassan was arrested and exiled to Malta, where he endured years of hardship. Despite this setback, his courage inspired countless others. Other Deobandi scholars also played key roles in the freedom movement, issuing calls to action and mobilizing the Muslim community. They believed that their faith called them to fight for justice and liberation, not just for Muslims but for all Indians. This commitment to social and political engagement set Darul Uloom Deoband apart from other religious institutions of the time. It showed that Islamic scholarship could be a powerful force for change in the world. The influence of Darul Uloom Deoband extends far beyond India. The Deobandi movement, which takes its name from this seminary, has spread to countries like Pakistan, Afghanistan, Bangladesh, United Kingdom, South Africa, and beyond. Today, there are Deobandi seminaries and institutions all over the world, teaching the same curriculum and upholding the same values of rigorous scholarship and spiritual depth. One of the most notable offshoot is the Tablighi Jamaat, a global Islamic missionary movement that began in the 1920s with roots in the Deobandi tradition. Through its efforts, millions of Muslims have been inspired to reconnect with their faith. Through these networks, the teaching of Darul Uloom Deoband has shaped the religious practices of countless communities. However, it's worth noting that Deobandi interpretation of Islam has been adapted to different cultural contexts. While the core principle rooted in the Hanafi school of jurisprudence remain the same, local customs and challenges have influenced how these teachings are applied. From rural villages in India to urban centers in London. Dear audience, today Darul Deoband remains a leading Islamic seminary with thousands of students from around the world passing through its doors. It continues to focus on traditional Islamic sciences, though it has expanded its curriculum to include some modern subjects like computer literacy and basic sciences. It, like any institutions with such a long history, it has faced its share of challenges and criticism. Darul Uloom Deoband also criticized due to its curriculum. Critics argued that the institutions like Darul Uloom Deoband should incorporate more secular subjects, science, technology, and economics, to better prepare students for today's world. Supporters countered that the seminary strength lies in its focus on the religious education only, which provides spiritual grounding in an increasingly materialistic society. This tension reflects broader questions about how traditional institutions can adapt to changing times while preserving their core mission. As we reflected on the story of Darul Uloom Deoband, we see a legacy of resilience, scholarship, and faith and religion. For over 150 years, this institution has preserved the Islamic knowledge, contributed to India's independence, and influenced Muslim communities worldwide. It has faced challenges from colonial oppression to modern controversies, but its impact is undeniable. Darul Uloom Deoband reminds us of the power of education to shape societies and inspire change. As we look to the future, we can ask ourselves, how can institutions like this continue to serve their communities while navigating the complexities of the modern world? What lesson can we learn from its journey? Thank you for joining me on this journey through history. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button, subscribe more for more content like this, and share your thoughts in the comments below. What aspect of Darul Uloom Deoband's story resonates with you the most? Let's keep the conversations going. Until next time, keep exploring the wonders of the past.